Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hold Up, the show where we dive deep inside your childhood nostalgia, pull those movies from your past out, and truly see if they hold up. I'm Chase. I'm holed up with Andrew this week. Kyle is missing in action. I guess that they have enough evidence to put him behind bars and that he really did touch that goat. I don't know, Andrew. Maybe you can speak to that.
It's honestly a pretty private matter. If we talk too much, it could deter the argument in court. So it's best we just leave it up to hearsay, which is that he probably did touch that goat. And embarrassing, makes us look bad. But what are you going to do about it? We can't control other people's actions, even if they're one of our own. We just have to suck it up and move forward, and maybe not defend Kyle's actions, but just know that he's an imperfect human and we still have to love him anyways.
Well, he'll get his day in court, too, so who are we to judge on this entire situation?
You're right.
Even though he did send us
you know,
photos and videos, which I promptly deleted off my phone before that goes into evidence, but,
Yeah. Innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven otherwise. So
guilty until proven guilty. But how was your
Yeah.
week off is the bigger question mark.
Didn't really have a week off, my friend. So
Your week off from the show.
yeah, I got yelled at by customers and got looped into meeting after meeting and worked overtime every other day this week. And not really much time to decompress and find myself again, if that's what you're asking. So,
You know what'll help you decompress and find yourself?
Lube.
That and music lessons over from our friends at SoundSpaceATL.com. That's right. If you live in the Atlanta metro area, you can find our friends over at SoundSpace right there in the Goat Farm on 1200 Foster Street. They are wonderful. Andrew, you've always wanted to learn to play the ukulele. Well, now's your chance with Nick over at SoundSpace.
I've also wanted to learn to play the oboe other than the ukulele.
I wonder if Nick could do that.
I bet he could. I bet he's multi-instrumentalist in many ways.
He's very talented.
I'm sure.
But if anyone out there is looking for music lessons, hit up SoundspaceATL.com. Those guys are good. They will get you taken care of. Your first 15-minute lesson is free. They can kind of discover what you are passionate about through music and help you learn that. Get better with your musical knowledge. Just get better, period. But Kyle's not here today, so we're going to try something different. And it may not work, and I may delete it. But you know how Kyle always gives us his mood level through whatever we described that week? I want you to tell me which Sandra Bullock movie you feel like today.
So I live in Memphis, Tennessee. And I know everyone. And I'm constantly busy and talking and getting in other people's business and making things about me. And then I find a poor black kid in the streets and I take him in as my own because I feel bad about other things that I'm missing in my life. So I use this poor kid to help me socially and make up for the lack of I don't know, romance and acceptance and other things that I don't receive on a daily basis through a non-emotional husband. And I put this kid in a pedestal and I ride his coattails, and then I use his existence and talent to get money from other schools. And he's really successful. And he goes on and plays in the NFL, and I still take his money. And then years later, he writes me off, and now I have no connection to him, but I'm rich, and it doesn't fucking matter. That movie.
That was phenomenal. Are you married to Tim McGraw, too?
Yes, and he's hot, but he's also emotionless and talented. So, are you going to delete that one, or are you going to let that one roll?
No, that was too good. That is staying in the episode. That may be our new thing. See, and I thought about asking you about Keanu Reeves, too, which Keanu Reeves movie you were, but I feel like you were going to pick, like, the villain from John Wick.
I was just going to do John Wick, because, the idea of, like, beating people senseless and just like owning them physically through weaponry and like kung fu and whatever. That sounds awesome right now. I would love to take out my pent up anger and stress on people like that. But no, I'm Michael Orr's mother, estranged mother.
Or Bill and Ted would have been my choice today.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Well, Andrew, do you want to tell the folks at home why I'm asking you about Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves?
Do I want to?
Yeah, sure.
No, I don't. I don't
Will
want to,
you?
but I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
He's asking me about Sandra Bullock movies because we watched one of her first commercially successful movies, Speed, from 1994, also starring Keanu Reeves and Dennis Hopper and Jeff Daniels. So, yeah, that's what we're doing today, Speed.
I think it was the first feature film that Sandra Bullock was in. Am I mistaken there? I remember this jump started her career and jump started Keanu Reeves' action film career, because before Speed, he was just a lovable young kind of comedic talent. Like we mentioned Bill and Ted's, that was his big claim to fame until Speed kind of came along. After that, now he's like, we talk about John Wick, so he's really a mainstay now. And then Sandra Bullock went off adopting kids in Memphis and
Yeah.
making money off of them.
But no, this was her like big breakthrough. So
Yeah, and she's
this
phenomenal
was
in it. I'll go ahead and say that. But I'm a big Sandra Bullock fan. How do you feel about her?
I love her. I like her. I don't think she's like the greatest actor in the world, but she's likable in most things that she does. And she honestly, usually, like, you're not getting like a Meryl Streep performance and everything, but you don't need that with Sandra Bullock. She's just likable, and I don't think she fucks up. You know what I mean? Like she's just really solid with pretty much every role she's in. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm a big Sandra Bullock fan. Yeah, I won't slander her.
Was this your first Sandra Bullock movie you saw?
No,
Believe it or not,
no.
this was my first Sandra Bullock movie
Oh
I saw.
wow,
Yeah.
lucky you. No, this was not.
It's Congeniality.
I'd never watched Speed until Saturday night. I'd never seen it.
Wow. Okay, that was going to be my next question. Wow, I thought I picked a movie that you'd seen before. Have you?
No, I
So
had
you have
never seen this.
no knowledge of this movie before.
No, I have no emotional draw to it, no nostalgic draw to it. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Kind of go through the notions there with you. Big action movie though from the '90s. We'll get to the numbers in just a second, but I kind of already know that it did well. I guess I'll lead the way here with my past with this movie, but I think it was like my 6th grade year, and I discovered this movie. What year would that have been? No, it was my. I think it was my 4th grade year. I was going to school for my 4th grade year, and we had
So
this
that would have been what, like 2001,
some around that
2000?
time, like about it was this movie had been out for some time. We owned the DVD box set. It came on 2 discs, and it had like
Oh, jeez.
it had all the special features, but it also had like the full screen and the widescreen version. Do you remember that on DVDs? Where you could get
Yes.
both. So one
It
disc
depended
was
on what TV. If you had a nice like flat screen, it was always nice to get the widescreen. But if you had just like a cathode ray, whatever you want to call those, the full screen was always better. I do miss those though. I do miss them. Really, I think most things are now just widescreen in general, right?
right,
Like
but the TVs are cropped down now, so you
cropped
don't even
down.
notice it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That used to be a huge debate with kids in school. Was like full screen's better, no widescreen's better, and we were a full screen household. My dad hated widescreen. He would like get
Yeah,
so mad.
when I hated full or widescreen as well, I was all about the taking up as much space as you possibly could,
Right,
despite whatever TV it was.
right, and I think that's just kind of where technology was, where a lot of people were kind of migrating into the flatter TVs, and when they got to the flat TVs, the widescreen I think looked better. But we didn't have a flat TV. We had a bunch of box TVs that weighed about 450 pounds, and you couldn't move them. But I digress there. We had the box set of this DVD. I remember it really well. It was kind of cool. Had that like kind of shiny chrome metallic like finish to it, and had the bus jumping through the fire. Um, I loved action movies as a kid. I was all about some action movies, and this was one of my favorite ones as a kid. We talk about Die Hard. Die Hard was probably the favorite, but this one was close by. I was enamored with it as a kid. I remember watching it on TV any chance it came on, but it would come on rarely on TNT, and you talked about a little bit of that on a prior episode where we're talking about the movies that would grace TNT late at night or, early Sunday morning. And this happened to be one, but it was like one of the rare ones in the rotation. So I'd kind of wait and wait and wait and try to record it when I could. And then we finally got the box set that summer and I got to see it uncut, which, to be fair, there's not a whole lot in this movie that would be unfair for a child to watch. I mean, there's obviously curse words, but we can overlook that. And my parents let me watch it, and I loved it. Like I said, it was one of my mom's favorites, too. I just remember it being just balls to the wall from the start of the movie all the way to the end. And I remember there was this, if you didn't know what you were getting into and you just started the movie, the beginning throws you off so much, like the first 30 minutes, and then it turns into something else.
The opening credits scene. Oh my god.
God, dude, it takes a lot of inspiration from Die Hard. You can tell, especially in that
Oh, yeah.
first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
The set pieces here, it is very awe-inspiring for a child because this movie is all practical effects, like most of the action movies from the 90s and 80s. They just blew shit up. If you see something blow up on the screen, they blew that shit up in real life. And as a child, your eyes are glued to that. Like it's like heroin for your eyes. And I was no different. I watched this movie over and over and over again in the August of 2001, I'm assuming, when I was in fourth grade. I just kept watching it and watching it and watching it. And I just remember that correlating to going back to school. I remember finding my classroom for the first time, meeting my teacher for the first time. And then I just remember going home and watching Speed. And that was my childhood to it. But it's weird because I remember watching it then, and I watched it, I think, as a teen on like TV one night when it was on late or something like that, and I got bored. But I've never seen it as an adult, believe it or not. I've seen Die Hard a million times. I've seen Predator as an adult. I've seen RoboCop, other action films.
You've seen Predator?
Yeah, and if you want to listen to our Predator episode, we did that one earlier in the year too, so that's a little plug. So go back and listen to us. But yeah, finish this episode first, then go back and listen to Predator, and maybe compare the two and see which one you think holds up. Oh, that sounded good, didn't it?
I think you should delete it.
So that's my history with it. Did you know anything about this movie at all, or
No?
I know you haven't seen it, but
nope. I didn't know it really existed until you texted me last week and said, "Hey, this is what we're doing." And I looked it up. I was like, "Oh, cool. Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper, Sandra Bullock, Jeff Daniels. Okay, cool. Those are some like legendary actors there. All right, cool. All right, this may not be a waste."
And I will say this too: this movie was more popular as a kid when I was a kid, and it kind of just got buried with time, don't you think? Like it feels like it's one of those lost action movies now that no one talks about.
I think there's reasons for that, which we can potentially get into, but I don't know. There's so many action movies from like the late 80s and early to mid 90s that we don't discuss. Like, remember Executive Decision with Kurt Russell and John Leguizamo? I think was Halle Berry in that too?
Maybe.
That's like, it's like the same vein, in my opinion. Like, there were so many of these types that were just churned out and pushed out. So naturally, not all are going to like withstand the test of time. They're just not.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not saying that this doesn't or those movies don't, but yeah. Oh, and Steven Seagal and Oliver Platt were also an Executive Decision. Oh my God, what a dirty cast that is. Oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, there's just so many of those types of movies back then. So you're not going to remember all of them because a lot of them just like bleed together. They become like one amalgamous memory of action.
And Oliver Platt was in our last week's movie in Dr. Dolittle, so there you go.
Was he really?
Yeah, he's one of the doctors.
I love Oliver Platt. I think he's hilarious, and he's great in The Bear. I'm happy that he's still working. He's always been I wouldn't say a favorite, but I've always enjoyed his performances. So, do you want me to get some numbers here? Do you want me to
Yeah.
share some juicy figures?
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking that budget was pretty high with all the explosions and effects on the screen.
define high. Are you talking 100 milligram seltzer? Or are we talking 25?
God, I don't even 25 is high for me. I was gonna say, was it 94? Right?
This is 94. Yes.
I was gonna say it's easy a 10 milligram seltzer to 20 milligram seltzer in between that little range right there.
So convert that into dollars now. Actually, convert it into cents, and then we'll do that. We'll convert it to dollars. Cents to dollars.
40 million.
Actually, that's a really good guess. It was 30.
Oh, that's lower than I thought.
Yeah,
I thought I was gonna
30
I
million.
thought I was gonna underball. There was a segment in time where I was thinking about it and I was like,
Not to give anything away, but I would say more than half this movie was it was filmed while on a bus.
And the other quarter of it was filmed in an elevator. So first quarter's in an elevator and soundstage, and then
But I would even say that's like I bet the amount of time that they spent filming that probably was like a quarter of the movie. But in terms of like the plot itself, that was like 5 minutes, five to 7 minutes.
it was 30 minutes. It was like that first like whole well, which we'll get into. Everyone, just stay tuned, please.
It was not 30 minutes. Maybe I'll give maybe 15.
It's because it's a 2-hour movie, and 30 minutes of it is spent with them chasing him down through the elevator and getting those people out of the elevator.
I feel like it was like 20 minutes, like 15, 20
that's what
minutes max.
But that's
max.
the thing is I looked it up and it was about 30 to 35 minutes.
Oh, well,
but the thing about it is it's something I want to put a pin in that because I want to come back to it because you and I are thinking the same way, I promise. But yeah, and it was also filmed in Los Angeles, which would eat up any budget right there.
Do you miss the days where like Los Angeles was like the default like location for the majority of movies?
It feels like it goes back and forth because we've seen a lot of movies where it's just New York. I got tired of New York for a while. I was like, can we go anywhere else but New York?
Yeah.
It's either New York, Los Angeles, or some small podunk town. That's your three choices. So I always feel excited when a movie takes place somewhere different. But the big question here is, how much money did this thing make?
Altogether, worldwide, gross 350 million and some change.
Holy shit!
It did well.
You're not kidding. Did well. Damn.
Yeah.
That goes up there with some of the best like action movies to ever hit the screen, especially in '94. That's some over a quarter of $1 billion. That's crazy.
It's a lot. That was actually
Did that surprise you?
Surprised. Yeah, yes, without a doubt. It surprised me a great deal. I was like, God damn. Like, yeah, I don't have one off the top of my head or an example off the top of my head, but I feel like there are certain movies we've watched and reviewed that I feel deserve to do like just as well as that financially, but didn't come close. I'm shocked. When I saw that, I was like, God damn. All right, this raked. They knew what they were doing. They had a formula. They had a vision, an idea, and they raked it in. So good for them.
Guess who was one of the uncredited writers on this too? I got a fun fact for you.
Seth MacFarlane?
No, close, I guess. No, not close at all. Josh Whedon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he wrote a lot of the dialogue here, which makes sense.
Oh, well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, he didn't get credited for it, but he did work on this film. Well, Andrew, lead us off this week since you didn't get to last week and tell us where this movie starts and where it begins, mainly where the title sequence takes place. And
starts in an elevator shaft, and it just starts at the
goes
bottom
forever.
I thought that we were going into hell. I thought that we were going to go into the ground I was like, damn, this is a really tall building. Are we in the World Trade Center? Oh wait, we could be. We could be in the World Trade Center in '94. Like it literally just it didn't stop. It
It,
didn't stop.
and to describe
So
what Andrew's talking about in perfect detail is the camera is positioned above the elevator itself and it's slowly moving from floor to floor, and that's the opening credit sequence and the title cards. So it lasts for like, I no joke, what is that, like 5 or 6 minutes of just that, of the
it
elevator
felt
going.
at least like it was that long.
And you
Um,
notice the font, it was Die Hard font too.
it was Die Hard font. It was also like word art font. Like
Typical 90s action.
Microsoft Word, like neon colors with neon like bordering. Dude, I was like, what is this shit? Like, I guess '90s you let it slide, but my God, it looked tacky as hell. It looks so tacky.
There was another action movie that I was watching just for fun, and I didn't really finish it. I was just kind of, it was on, and I was just like catching a few minutes of it, and it had that same word art. It just must have been the thing at the time. And I remember seeing the Predator box art, and it still has that same stupid font. It's just, there was only one or two fonts you can go with. But yeah, this little sequence, this little title card sequence did not hold up. But we'll go ahead and say that it kind of, I was like, get to it already. And then when it finally does get to it, what do we get?
And then we get to the very bottom of the shaft, and there's someone in the elevator shaft, like doing some maintenance, it seems, and some security guard walks by and he sees someone in the corner and he's like, walks in, he's like, can I help you? And he's like, yeah, I got a work order right here. And he like holds him like a piece of paper. Before he holds the piece of paper, he like takes the paper and like puts it like on top of his bag and sticks his hand underneath the paper. I mean, it was so obvious that he was hiding something. And he lifts the bag up with the paper, with his hand in the bag, and he's looking. The security guard's looking at the paper, and he just takes out a knife and stabs him in the ear and kills him, like right off the bat. You're like, oh, cool. Wow, it's not holding anything back. Cool.
Well, I mean, it's exactly
Getting
how
right into it.
Dennis Hopper would kill somebody, and that's our character, is Dennis Hopper's character. We're introduced to the villain of this movie like within the first 30 seconds after the elevator hits the ground. And then what, we get a bunch of suits in a meeting, and they all leave this meeting and they're doing their stupid like inside jokes and water cooler talk in the elevator, and then I think a couple of them are smitten with each other, and they start riding the
Yeah,
elevator down or up or wherever the fuck they're going, and then the cables blow, right?
yeah.
And cause the
Cable.
emergency brakes to lock on.
Yeah, and then they have a little Tower of Terror moment where they just like free fall for I don't know how many
That is
floors.
exactly what I thought about too.
Yeah,
And I remember this scene when I was a kid and I rode Tower of Terror for the first time, and I remember free falling and thinking about those people in Speed.
dude, I don't know about you, but getting trapped in an elevator is like one of my biggest fears.
Oh
Like
god,
that is something that it's happened to me before, and it was actually at the Atlanta Zoo in the parking garage, and it was terrifying.
how
It
long
was
were you
it was
trapped?
like 5 minutes. It turns out the person that was operating the actual like buttons was just fucking dumb as shit. But like everyone freaked out, and like the mom next to me and her son, they were in panic mode. So things like this, like it induces an anxiety in me that I cannot really
Yeah.
express. I can't put into words.
Did you
I
did
fucking
you
hate it.
did you establish a piss corner?
Yeah, I was already in the corner actually, so that was mine, and people knew to stay away.
I am terrified of that because I think it is a lot. Because if you get a bunch of people in that elevator, that is claustrophobic nightmare. And we've read
Yes.
stories of people being stuck for hours in elevators. I'm be honest with you, I'm not really ever worried about them actually crashing and me dying in
No,
them. But I'm,
that's a little far fetched, but just being stuck in there, and let's say let's say that the call button doesn't work, or you don't have service. Well, you could be stuck in there for quite some time, just in an elevator shaft in confined walls with no movement and no connection to the outside world. That's terrifying to me. You have no freedom at that point. You are truly trapped, and that's what scares me. So,
That and cave diving, and getting stuck in those tunnels.
oh God, but fully that's a conscious choice. You have to like put yourself in that situation. I think yeah, that is oh my God, that's another level of terror that I'd never want to put myself through. But we're getting off track here. We don't need to talk about cave diving when the title of our movie here is
Speed.
Speed. But anyways, these people plummets. There was an explosion that caused the plummet. Obviously, there were bombs or explosives
C4, I think.
attached. Yeah, C4 is what they implied. They said it multiple times throughout this entire movie. And he liked to use his C4. But yeah, they free fall. And they get. They didn't get stuck, but I think the way that he had it rigged, it was only going to drop a
Which,
certain
which,
distance.
yeah, which is clever because what he did was he blew the cables at the right spot because the emergency brakes took hold of the elevator, so it
There you go.
stopped it. But the cables are loose, and so you're dealing with a mastermind here because of the way that everything went off. And of course, the police get called in. We meet our heroes here. We meet Jeff Daniels and Keanu
Jeff
Reeves.
Jeff Daniels, who plays a character named Harry.
I had that in my notes. It's from Dumb and Dumber,
Yes,
same year.
same year too. Like, what are they doing? Like, was that just like happenstance? Like, how did that happen?
That had to be in his contract. He has to go by Harry, right?
Maybe because I guess that he would have been more identifiable. I don't know.
And also,
Uh,
did you notice that the police are called to this skyscraper, this tower, this business office, whatever, and one of the cars, or the police cars, for no reason at all, gets a lot of air on its way in.
yes,
And I was like, why? Why did we need that? We didn't need that on the entrance of the
it's
police
it's
officers.
it's just foreshadowing. It's foreshadowing.
Right. It,
You
it
know?
made me laugh. Like I laughed
Yes, it
audibly.
wasn't. It wasn't like a haha, that was well placed. That was a haha, that was really fucking dumb.
That was
You
dumb. You
know,
could have killed yourself before even getting
You-
to the scene.
their axles would have broke. Like they wouldn't have been able to continue. The car would have like busted in half
For
with
no
the way it
reason.
landed for no reason.
Yeah, you weren't in a chase. There was no. So I don't.
Also, they show up in like SWAT gear. So like, where was the SWAT cars and trucks?
Right.
You know?
Like they're like the SWAT team. So I get that.
Yes.
But like, yeah, they just all show up in regular cars. And you get the lieutenant, and he's kind of giving a briefing of this. This is what I do love about this movie. This movie wastes no time with dialogue and plot. It's like, you're here to see an action movie. Let's get to the action. The lieutenant, who was also in Terminator, by the way, another action film from the 80s. He was in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Let me correct myself.
Ugh, it's so hot.
He's giving a briefing to the SWAT team about what they got going on. They know that there's hostages in the elevator now. They've made contact with the perpetrator, and he's demanding what, $3 million or something like that?
$3 million. Yeah, he wants a cool $3 million.
Or he will blow the emergency brakes on the elevator, and people will plummet to their death. And he gives them an hour.
13 people. Yeah, gives them a full hour to gather 13 million, and they don't know where this guy is, or they have no idea where he is.
They're
I don't
assuming
think.
things, and they're pretty. I mean, their SWAT team's pretty smart, I would say. Harry and Jack, who is Keanu Reeves' character, they're the A players of this team. They seem to take initiative.
They're the sex havers, if you will. These two fuck.
They absolutely do. And Harry is a ammunitions expert, I would assume.
He's like a weapons and bomb expert.
Yeah.
Like he's the one that you want to defuse a live active bomb. He knows the difference between the red, the green, the blue. If you trim the gold wire, what's that gonna do? He's the expert. I would just say a weapons expert altogether.
And
he's a nerd.
And
He's
Jack,
kind of a nerd.
And Jack's kind of the hotshot rookie cop who is very skilled, but also kind of flies by the seat of his pants and puts people in danger. That's kind of
A
the
little brash, a little
yeah,
brash,
a little yeah, but smart. They make his character pretty smart. He's pretty
and
wise.
sexy.
Yeah,
And
I mean, still sexy to this day, but my God, young Keanu Reeves, yeah, eat him with a spoon. So what they do now is they start evaluating the situation, and they're opening the elevator shaft, and Harry is looking at the bomb at one moment trying to figure it out. He's like, there's a lot of C4 here, and the people in the elevator don't know. They think they're just trapped
yeah,
in the elevator. They don't know that there's a bomb, even though they should have felt the explosion of C4 go off. But they're like, help us, we're trapped. Why is the police here? Why isn't a firefighters or maintenance man helping us? So they're kind of confused, and they're not giving them the police are not telling them, hey, there's a bomb strapped to this elevator and we got to figure out a way to get you out in less than an hour. But what happens next? Now they've assessed the situation. I think there's a part where they kind of bring up, when they're talking, Harry brings up a hostage situation, like a pop quiz kind of thing.
it's just like casual conversation, like, hey, what would you do in this situation? I don't remember what he says, but
It's like perpetrators holding someone hostage with a bomb.
and you only have so much time. What do you do? And Jack's like, shoot the hostage. And Harry's like, man, you're dirty.
Yeah, he's like, it's like, that's
you're
stupid.
dirty.
The reason they do that is so that Jack and him can like get their minds going, so that they can think.
Yeah. What happens next here is they start to like play around with the elevator. Like they hop on top of this full elevator cart. They're inspecting. I think it's this at this point where Dennis Hopper's character, he's got his eyes on the situation. We don't exactly know where he is yet, but he's got his eyes on the situation. I think he detonate another explosive, which causes the elevator shaft to free fall even more. Am I right?
Not at this point. I know we see him in an elevator, and he starts like moving around and planning something else.
Well, no, because there definitely is there's a point when
but it's after Keanu Reeves goes up top. He gets an idea and pulls in like a crane.
That's right.
And I don't know how he thought of this. I was like, okay, I guess I could see it working, but for a SWAT team, a SWAT team member thinking of this would be out of.
It's like a crane with like, it's a pulley system with like a
steel cable
with a hook at the end that's wrapped up, and you can pull it loose, and
it's one of those loading cranes when you need to load stuff onto a roof. Like, and some buildings have those already, and it's kind of stationary on top of the roof, and he's able to slide it through one of the vents and through the shaft, and he does this whole Mission Impossible thing where they lower him down. Harry lowers him down, and he's able to clip it in. And Dennis Hopper's playing in his elevator, and it's a smaller elevator, so you're kind of thinking it's a freight elevator, which we will have confirmed in a second. They hook the crane up, and Dennis Hopper knows that they're messing with him, so he immediately blows the emergency brakes.
Yep.
Game up, time up.
It's a free fall at this point. I think there's like a small hole at the bottom of the occupied elevator that is exposed, and everyone starts screaming. Harry and Jack get out of the way, and they watch it fall. And luckily, that cable that he attached to the top through the vent keeps the elevator from plummeting all the way down. And then they're able to somehow make out what floor it's at, and they quickly scurry down. And this is where they start screwing off some of the panels. It's not even like an elevator door. They're just screwing off panels at the wall because they think or know that the elevator is going to be right there. And sure enough, it is, right?
Yeah, and I think slightly showed this. They showed the floor numbers, so they were able to kind of see the floor numbers. I'll give them a pass on that because there was floor numbers in one scene. I think they just did that to establish the fact that we don't have another reasoning for this. Also, side note, I do love when Dennis Hopper goes mad crazy. Loved him in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 for going crazy, and I loved him in this for being like, fuck with me, and he starts screaming and then blew the emergency brakes.
Dennis Hopper was playing himself in this movie because
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper was insane
Love
in
Dennis
actual
Hopper.
life.
I love that man so much. So they end up, we'll speed through this a little bit. They end up rescuing the hostages. It's very harrowing. It's very suspenseful. One lady doesn't want to get out as the elevator's falling, and they start yelling at her, and she eventually makes it out, and the elevator just misses her going down. So
I thought she was gonna get cut in half. I
I would
thought
have
she
loved
wasn't.
that.
I wanted it too because I was like, woman, just move. The time is of the essence here. Any time wasted is time off your life, and she was inches away from being severed or losing a leg.
Yeah, and I
And
thought they would have added stakes to this movie.
also, did you notice this was? I laughed because I don't think it was meant to be this way, but one of the women, when they pulled her out, her dress got pulled up, and you could see her thong.
No, I did. I must have
Yes,
missed that.
it was clear as day. I was a little kid in that situation. I rewound it and like paused it on that moment, but like it was either Jeff or Kiana whose hand when he was pulling her up like ripped up her dress from behind and you could see her.
Jeez.
Let's be honest, if you're trying to, get people out of an elevator that quickly in an emergency situation, something like that's bound to happen.
Oh
So it
yeah,
isn't like
it's very realistic,
yeah.
and this is all sounding absurd, but it's all a very realistic scene in a 90s action movie, which are always over the top. So it is over the top, but nothing here I can be like, okay, sure. Some things I'm like questioning on, but it's not egregious at this point. And they barely get her out, the elevator falls down. I forgot. Maybe you can answer this. Do you remember the aha moment that Keanu Reeves has, where he's like, he's still here in the building?
No, I mean I know that they're like freight elevator, but I don't remember what led to.
Because you remember what I'm talking about. He had that moment where he set up with like bright eyes, and he was like, he's still here. He's
Yes.
still here. And they're like, no, he could have blown that thing from wherever. No, he's still here. And then they find movement in the freight elevator. And at one point, they open the doors and they see the freight elevator where it's not supposed to be. And we're like, mystery guest, come on in. And then they jump on the freight elevator. And then Dennis Hopper just starts blowing chunks out of it with a pump action shotgun.
Shotgun. They both should have been shot.
Yeah,
like there's no way. There's no way that either of those two characters didn't have a casualty or injury of some sort. They would have been hit by a shotgun in that situation. Too close, and the area they were standing on was not wide enough. Like they would have been sprayed in some capacity. They would have been hit.
Well,
I was like,
and Harry falls through the elevator, and
yes,
now he's captured. And I remember he got clipped by the nose. Dennis Hopper pulls him up by the nose, and I remember as a kid being like,
yeah,
"Ow, ow,
that
ow,
was
ow!"
brutal. But here's the deal. Dennis Hopper was so trigger happy when they were on top of the elevator. Why didn't he just fucking shoot him in the face when he fell in?
I guess he had insurance as a hostage. I guess he was like, "Let me not kill this guy, because if things go south, I can negotiate." And then he starts shooting away at Keanu Reeves, and he has two systems. He has this like white system. He has a bunch of technology on this elevator we're not going to get into, but he has one thing that the elevator codes show a floor he's going to, and then he has another one that controls which floor he actually wants to go to, and it kind of disguises where the freight elevator is. Did I describe that okay?
Yeah, that was good.
It's kind of hard to describe, but so he pushes the elevator all the way up with Keanu Reeves on top of it. So Keanu Reeves has no choice but to jump into the elevator. Now he's hostage too. And then he disguises where the freight elevator goes and takes them to the parking lot. The other police officers see it going to floor 3, so they're like, he's going to floor 3. So they run off. So he's disguised his movements now. They get out into the parking deck or on their way to the parking deck, and what happens next, Andrew?
Oh, this is a little bit of a blur for me. He's got Harry hostage, right? He's got like a gun to his head, like arm around his neck. Is this where they're just like running through like the corridors?
Yeah,
essentially.
So he's gotten off with Harry, and Keanu's been separated from him. He didn't take them both. I don't know why he didn't shoot Keanu Reeves and run out with Harry. That's kind of
Yeah,
dumb. It didn't
made no
make sense.
sense.
It made no sense. But kind of leaves him, and Keanu Reeves is chasing after him with the gun. They get to a standoff, and Harry looks at Keanu Reeves as a hostage and goes, "Shoot the hostage." And Keanu Reeves is like, "All right," and he shoots him in the fucking thigh.
Yeah, right in the center of his quad, just tears that fucking muscle up.
Yeah, and
Um,
he's like, he goes shit, and goes down, and it Dennis Hopper's like, what, and just kind of drops him, and then Keanu Reeves points his gun back at him, and also keep in mind that Dennis Hopper revealed a bomb. He's strapped with a bomb too. We forgot to mention that, so he's got bombs on bombs, and he's holding the trigger. And he's like, I'll blow us all up. So Keanu Reeves can't just shoot him now. He's like, freeze, and Dennis Hopper runs through the doors. Keanu runs after him, and then there's this massive explosion that sends Keanu into the wall at breakneck speed. Probably would have broken his neck, or at least given him some incredible whiplash. Like, my God. And that's it. It cuts to a news report saying that the only person killed was the bomber. They get decorated medals, both Harry and Jack, for saving all the people in the elevator. Everything's good, right? That's the end of credits. That's Speed, right? And that the end of the movie. Didn't we describe it all, Andrew? Right?
wrong. There's a
Oh,
lot more to go because that was only like 20 minutes.
everyone talks about this opening scene in Speed. It is well known as a great diversion. A lot of people enjoy the opening sequence because you've watched 20 minutes of this movie, you haven't even got to the main plot yet, and it is very exhilarating. I will say that. Very suspenseful. It is 1994 suspenseful, but it is very suspenseful. And it kind of hooks you immediately. They don't have to do a whole lot of character building here, but we're moving along here, and Keanu Reeves, he thinks that the dude's still alive, whoever he is. They don't know anything about this guy. They just know that he was a bomb expert somehow. But we get Keanu Reeves on a day off, it looks like, or at least he's not working until that afternoon after a night of celebrating. And he goes to his normal coffee shop, talks to this bus driver that he knows. It looks like this is part of his routine, wouldn't you say, Andrew?
Yeah, he's wearing his his flannel shirt and jeans and bootcut jeans and boots. Like he's chilling. Like
And
he's
it's like small town in Los Angeles, it seems like, because everybody knows each other. Everyone's like talking.
they're in one neighborhood, you know.
Close to Santa Monica, I think is what they said.
Yeah,
But they're all greeting each other, and the bus driver's giving Keanu a hard time, but they seem to be friends. And they all walk out to their separate ways. The bus driver gets on his bus, and then a big explosion happens, Andrew, right?
massive. Yeah, massive explosion.
Blows like the top of that bus off.
Yeah, the city bus is just engulfed in flames in the middle of the street. And what does our buddy Jack do? But sets his coffee down in his car and runs to investigate. And he gets really close to a vehicle that's on fire, like
And
trying
it's
to like
also,
looking through
it's
the
still
windows.
exploding too. Like there's
Yeah, like
several explosions. There's like, you
get the
wouldn't do
fuck
that.
away, dude. No, that's dumb as shit.
Right.
Who would do that?
The bus
Yeah,
driver's obviously not alive. Like,
yeah.
but the phone starts ringing, right? And Jack goes over and answers the phone, and it's obviously
Payphone. It's a
it's a
payphone, by the way.
payphone. Oh, sorry for all the kids back home. A payphone used to be things that would be on street
Dude,
corners, local businesses, and you would put a quarter in, and you could use the phone
and
because
there's also always a number on the payphone, so you could literally call the payphone from another telephone line. There's a payphone outside our high school lunchroom that we would prank call
I,
all the
I,
time. We would be in class. We would be in like a lecture for like history, and I would just pull out my phone. I had it on speed dial, and I would just call it. And no one, and people would answer, and I wouldn't say anything because I was in the middle of class. But I'd hear people pick up, like, "Hello, hello." And it was fun. They eventually removed it by the time
they
I was a
removed
senior
it. They removed it because
because
of you.
everyone prank called it. Yeah, everyone did. But regardless, the payphone is ringing because someone called it.
And
And
he answers, obviously, it's going to be Dennis Hopper. And he says,
obviously,
pop quiz, hotshot. There's a bomb on a bus. And Dennis Hopper, we kind of got a look at him earlier. He had a burnt hand in the middle of the ceremony where they were honoring the police officers. That's how we knew he was still alive. And obviously, you knew he was going to be alive because that was only 20 minutes in the movie. He's always watching. He's always got surveillance everywhere. He's a very smart, cunning criminal. But he starts talking to Jack and tells him that there's a bomb on a bus with that people are on it, and once the bus goes over 50 miles per hour, it arms the bomb. If the bus drops under 50 miles per hour, the bomb explodes, killing everyone aboard. Jack kind of uses some cunning lingo there to kind of get him to give him the bus number. And he's like 2525, right? Something like that.
sure.
52, whatever the bus number was. So now Jack's got to go find the bus. He calls Harry, tells him that, hey, the dude's still alive. I'm looking for this bus. And then we get this sequence that's crazy as hell. He got out of his Bronco, which was very reminiscent of something else that happened in 1994, right? Or
OJ.
Yeah, it's same kind of style, and especially in Los Angeles. It's so weird.
But it wasn't a white Bronco. His was like light
Tan,
blue.
yeah, light blue and tan. And
Something like that.
he chases down the bus, and he's like trying to get on the bus, and he's acting like a wild man, and the bus just keeps driving. And Sandra Bullock happens to be on this bus, and she knows Sam, the bus driver. There's a couple of other people on the bus, like the lady from The Rookie.
Yeah.
The mom from The Rookie is on here, and she was also in The Mist, and she was on last week's episode in Dr. Dolittle. She made it like an Easter egg appearance there. So she's back-to-back weeks this week. We'll get to her a little bit later. But Keanu's trying to get on, and Sandra's like, no, that dude's a creep and weirdo. And there's another guy on there I want to mention. There's, you get to meet all the characters as you go, but there's another guy on there that's like a tourist taking photos of everything.
That was, what's his name? He's in Succession. He's in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. What's his name?
Yeah, he was a popular actor in the late 80s, early 90s.
Hold on. He's a name. We can't not say his name. Oh, Alan Ruck. Yeah, Alan Ruck.
His character's kind of funny a little bit. But they drive away from him, but he's on foot trying to get onto the bus that now he can't get back to his Bronco in time, so he confiscates a convertible with someone in it and makes them ride shotgun, which is weird. I thought you would just kick them out of there. But riding shotgun, and he keeps trying to get up close to the bus, and the bus kind of is getting away from him. And at one point, he's driving like a maniac. He's able to get the guy to write bomb on the bus on this, like, what did he find? Like, was it like cardboard?
It was like a piece of paper. It was like printer paper, like literally.
Yeah,
it might have been like the back of his registration or something.
And he writes that on a piece of paper and hands it to his passenger. He's like, hold this up for me. And Keanu has to slam on his brakes, and the paper flies up, and the bus driver sees it hit the windshield so he can read it. It says bomb on bus, and he starts to slow down. And Keanu's been flashing his, like, badge saying, no, LAPD, no, don't stop, don't slow down. And eventually he opens the door so Keanu can get close to it and tell him to not go under 50 miles per hour. And then the guy starts holding on to the car or driving the car for him so Keanu can jump onto the fucking bus, which is what an impressive leap. And by the way, did you know Keanu Reeves did his own stunts here?
Doesn't he usually do his stunts? Doesn't he like Tom Cruise?
Not before this. Not before this.
Hey, well, good for him.
I think there for a little bit he didn't, and now he's doing it again with John Wick. But he learned arms training, all this jumping, all this stuff. He actually went and learned. And Sandra Bullock, who is on this bus, learned how to drive an actual bus for this movie.
Hey, that's impressive.
It adds a point to this movie. But he's on the bus now, and he's talking to the bus driver, and then he turns around and he starts like saying LAPD, trying to explain it without like telling them what's actually going on. And there's a guy in the back, Andrew, and he's looking a little mischievous. What is he doing?
Is this the guy with the gun?
It is the guy with the gun.
Yeah, he's got a gun, and he's freaking out because he doesn't want to die, and he wants answers. And
You can obviously tell he has a warrant. He thinks that Keanu's there for
oh,
him.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. He thinks that he's getting arrested because, of course, the Latin American man is a gangbanger, and he clearly has done some nefarious deeds. Yeah, he just gets antsy because he doesn't want to go to jail. And Jack's like, I'm not going to arrest you, man. Not today. Not today. It's not happening. And that wasn't enough to assuage his fears. I think he pulls out his gun, and Keanu like tries to knock it out of his hands, but then he fires off a
No,
round.
it's Keanu was trying to talk him down, and then some fucking idiot passenger attempts to take the gun away from him.
Oh, there you go.
And it goes
There's
off
a struggle.
and shoots Sam, the bus driver,
Sam, the
in the
bus
shoulder.
driver.
In the shoulder, so Sam's down, and Sandra Bullock just jumps into action, starts driving, and she starts trying to slow the bus down and stop it, and Keanu's like yelling at her, no, don't stop the bus. And she's like, well, he's gonna die. We need to, and he's like, if you stop this bus, it'll explode and we'll all die. And that's
which, mind you, we're in Los Angeles, people. Like, there's probably going to be a lot of stopping and starting. So, like, holding 50 miles an hour or 50 and above on the highway in Los Angeles in the early mid morning, I mean, that's not easy to do.
pretty much impossible, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's impossible to do almost at any given time, except maybe like late at night.
Well, and I'm also surprised he was able to get the bus above 50 to begin with.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's still trafficky, but it's not too bad, so I can believe that. And they do kind of like skirt with that idea a little bit. So he kind of updates everybody. He's got a phone on him he borrowed from the guy in the Corvette, and he's talking to Jeff Daniels, his character, and he's talking to the police department. So now everyone's aware, including the news. We're seeing a news feed of this situation. He starts meeting with Sandra Bullock in this situation too a little bit, probably a little bit more than they probably needed to, which would prove that Josh Whedon did write this.
Think they're gonna force a relationship between these two characters, Chase?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the weakest part of this movie is because like this does not fit in this situation at all. Like there's no way in hell you like because they're joking.
You're not thinking about flirting and hitting on someone in a situation where your life is truly at stake. I mean, they're gonna fucking blow up and die if they go below 50 miles per hour. So there really isn't time to focus on anything other than making sure that all goes to plan so no one is killed.
And Sam's bleeding out. And you got a guy handcuffed to the railing. You got a lot of shit going down. And at one point, to Andrew's point, I'll let you take it from here, Andrew, but they get to a point where they see the traffic stopping, right?
Yep. So they have to get off the exits, the off ramp, because that's the only clear path forward.
And they are hitting every fucking car too.
Yeah.
There's no way that bus didn't slow down under 50.
This part reminded me of Grand Theft Auto. A lot of this reminded me of Grand Theft Auto, just because Los Santos is.
I'm glad
essentially
you brought that up.
LA. But there's so many things you do with the bus, a city bus in Grand Theft Auto. It's an absolute tank.
I read somewhere where Grand Theft Auto 5 did actually use speed as some of its references.
It had to have. It had to have. And honestly, we're going to get to a point where we're at the airport in a bit. But
that's where I wrote it down. Yeah.
Especially, I was like, holy shit. We're at Los Santos International right now. We're on the runway. I know this hangar. This is coming back to me. But at this point, they get off the off ramp of the highway, and yeah, they're in like actual just like regular streets now, and they're wrecking. They're wrecking. They're running through red lights. They're doing like hard right turns at 50 miles per hour.
Which would have slowed the bus down below 50. Like, there's no
100%. 100%. Like
And they're having to do like the stuff where they're moving all the passengers to one side of the boat
one
or to one
side,
side of the bus so that they can.
so it doesn't flip.
Right. Yeah.
They keep the weights grounded so they can take the momentum while they turn right. And yeah, it's a little far fetched, and by a little I mean quite a bit,
Quite. I
quite
mean,
a bit.
it is an action movie. This is
It is.
very action movie. I was able to suspend my disbelief for a little bit on that because I was like, a couple of these turns maybe, but you doing
Well,
this repetitively, especially the scene where there's just piled up traffic, very Los Angeles. That is realistic. The traffic in this scene, that traffic was
yeah.
very realistic, which made me think they
But
just crashed a bus into actual traffic on the one to film this
yeah.
movie.
Well, at this point, I don't remember what happened. They get back onto another freeway that's under construction, meaning there's no traffic. Isn't that correct? Isn't that what happens next?
There's a shutdown interstate that they're building or doing something
Yeah,
with.
it's under construction. There's no traffic. There's no one on it, so they can just get up there and cruise.
And the police are now involved and they're helping out. So they're shutting down roads and stuff. So now they're kind of getting reinforcements. There's one scene where the police are leading them on the interstate and they cut to this wide shot. Andrew, I don't know if you caught this, but they cut to the wide shot and you could tell it was all stunt drivers, right? But the police officer in the motorcycle gets too close to the bus and the bus has to slam on the brakes and it goes under 50 easily. It's like going to 30. It's like slams on its brakes to stop from hitting the cop, and they kept it in.
Yeah. I do remember that. I do remember. I made note of that. I'm glad you shared because I was, in that moment, I was like, well, there it goes.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
it just
No, it
exploded.
didn't. Everyone should have died there. You're giving me blue balls here, Josh Whedon. Come on.
No, he just wrote the dialogue.
You're right. Sorry, he had nothing to do with.
He's gonna get
the
you your
action.
full balls worth in this movie. But
Feed me.
yeah, and when that happened, I was like, obviously it was a helicopter shot. It was very expensive shot to get because it's taking in the bus and everybody else on the freeway. So my imagination is they were like, fuck, we have to keep we got to keep it in. We can't retake that one.
It's so blatant. It's so obvious. But again, we suspend reality. We've done it many times.
All this is practical, kids, and do it in front of the camera. This is probably one of those movies where I say, hey, probably do a little bit more CG before you kill someone. Because there's a scene coming up next. There's always something next, right? Like in any action movie, it's like you're never done until you're done. What's next? Oh, they're not done with the freeway. So there's a giant 100-foot gap, I think is what they said.
Yeah, because when they told the bus to get on the freeway under construction, they didn't realize that part of the freeway wasn't completed. So there's a 100-foot gap that hasn't been fully constructed. But you can't do an action movie without a ramp scene or a long. What would you even call this? What is this even?
It's the unfinished construction GTA 5 is what it is.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Think about it. This is so GTA. There's so many ramps in GTA, the secret ramps and the ones that you have to like land perfectly with different motors and motorcycles and different vehicles. This is just that. There's definitely one that you have to try with a city bus. So yeah, GTA absolutely took from speed. But here we are. They're barreling down this construction riddled highway. They see the space in front of them. It's also uphill, which is not really great for them. Yeah, you can pick up speed, but then you're having to climb uphill, up at an angle with a bus
full of people.
So getting it up to, I think the speedometer only went to like 75 miles per hour, but 75 uphill to travel 100 feet to reach the other side of the unfinished freeway. That's what they're up against. And Chase, do you think they land it? Do you think they land it successfully?
Nail it, because that's the only thing that's the only choice they have too. Like, and also keep in mind, you're probably asking at home, well, why don't you just remove people from the bus? He's like, no, the guy said he was going to explode if anybody gets removed from the bus.
He was going to jerk off. He was going to explode himself if anyone got the bus. That's what he said.
And And we're going to get to that scene in just a second. But so they jump the bus and land it. And I remember being like, bullshit. Absolute bullshit for
Yeah, that
everything.
when I saw that, dude, I literally I rolled my eyes so hard I had to stand up and like walk out of the room for a
I,
second.
w-
I
I,
was
w-
like,
I
I'm
was
taking
like,
a piss break.
I
God
was,
damn it,
I was
no,
like, no way.
no,
But guess what?
no. We move on.
No, they did it in real life. They actually did it.
What did they really?
They absolutely did that. So they proved that that scene is not only possible, but the bus flew an extra 100 feet than it was intended to. So it wasn't even close. It
Okay, but I guarantee you the jump that it made, no, there's no way they gave themselves that much space between one side of the freeway to the other.
the only thing I will tell you is I think they stripped the bus down so the bus didn't have the equal weight that it had.
And there weren't, actors on the bus either.
No, no,
So
no. They had a stunt driver, but they actually did it. It is a thing that they actually were able to do. So they at least and like I said, it went an extra 100 feet. So maybe with the people on the bus, it's possible. But they proved it is possible that bus could have made it.
it's possible with a stripped down skeleton of the actual vehicle with no humans. And I guarantee you, the way they used angles, they were not traveling uphill to do that jump. I guarantee you, they played with their camera angles and made it so that it was just a simple straight line jump.
Just
I
like
would bet
what was it?
money.
What was it? The Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, where me, you, and Kyle were laughing hysterically about them falling with a raft out of the plane. And we're like, there's
Yes.
no way that could happen, but they did it. It's just
Yeah.
this is kind of one of those scenarios where I was like, well, I guess it's possible they were able to at least do it with even a stripped down version. I'm like, that's okay. I guess I'll shut up now. But anyway, Andrew, they make it. They're home free now, right?
No, no, they're not. At this point, Sam's not doing well, and the cops are on either side of the bus, and they're trying to get Sam off the bus. And this is when Dennis Hopper calls Jack, who's like, "Don't you fucking do it! Don't do it, buddy! Don't do it! I can see you." And he's like, "Wait, what? You can see us?" And this is when like Jack realizes that there's cameras on the bus, right?
What he thinks is the helicopters following the chase that are broadcasting on TV. He's watching it on TV on like news, and he's following the bus there. And so he's like, shit, he can see. But he negotiates to get Sam off the bus after a little bit. So
Thank God.
they have
die,
a flatbed truck that they're driving next to him, and they're able to get Sam off the bus. And then Dennis Quaid's mom from The Rookie gets up out of her seat and freaks out. She's like, I gotta get off. I gotta get off. And so she tries to get off, and Dennis Hopper blows the stairs on the bus. She falls in those and absolutely gets wrecked by not only the bus, but the traffic behind them.
She got yeeted.
She
got yeeted.
Best scene in the movie is this woman just getting absolutely like a mud
annihilated.
Run. Her shoe flew off too.
I missed that. I wish I had seen that. But
you could go back and rewind it. Her shoes fly off.
And honestly, like I didn't even like see her body. I thought she just got like not evaporated, but what's the word? Vaporized.
Yeah,
vaporized. Like she just kind of disappeared.
They kind of shoot it at a weird angle where if you rewind it, you can catch her body. Like, but it's obviously a dummy that they're using, but they shoot it so well. It's just so brutal to watch this woman just not only explode but get hit by I don't know how many tires are on a city bus in Los Angeles, but every single one of those hit her. And then on top of that, I think they showed a rear view mirror where like the police car behind her just crushes her skull. So she was dead upon dead upon dead.
That's fun.
So moving on, everyone's distraught, but they also see that he means business. I think to your point too, Andrew, we're moving quickly along here, but Keanu Reeves realizes that it's not the helicopters that he's watching, it's the CCTV camera in the bus he's rigged, right?
Yeah.
So,
He's got a bird's eye view. He's watching and jerking to all of them. He's a voyeur. He likes this, so
and then,
that's his motive.
and I'm going to catch everyone up too. There's one point where he gets under the paneling of the bus, right? This happens a couple times. He gets under the paneling of the bus and he looks at the C4 and there's a gold watch on it. And it looks like a retirement watch because they talk about this. Jeff Daniels was joking with Keanu Reeves about retiring, getting a cheap gold watch and a pension. So they see the gold watch, and he's relaying all this information to Harry to try to help him defuse the bomb. Harry's like, that's a lot of C4. He changes his trigger points and his timers all the time to stay in front of us, ahead of us. Long story short, they find out that it is a retired cop that is doing all this because he had to go on disability and didn't get his pension, blah 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 blah, screwed by the service and had his arm.
Who was a cop from what city though, Chase? Where did he live?
He was from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, APD.
You know what else is in Atlanta, Georgia, Andrew?
Yes, I do actually. Soundspace, ATL. They are located at the Goat Farm. Is that correct, Chase? Is that their
correct.
location?
They are.
Yeah, they teach you music lessons. If you have desires, aspirations to hone your musicianship, head over to our friends over at Soundspace ATL. Tell them we sent you, and they'll be happy. You'll be happy, and we'll be happy that you found each other. So take our word for it and head on over there to see our friends at the Goat Farm. They'll love to have you.
So at this point, the cops leave because they know who this guy is now, so they're gonna go get him. Now, for me, I've suspended disbelief this whole time. I've been like, okay, that's acceptable, that's acceptable, that's acceptable. This is where I'm like, okay, this is not acceptable. You're bomb squad expert, correct? Jeff Daniels leads a team of SWAT to a guy who is known for his bombs and rigging and traps. What do? They
show up at his doorstep, and they just his abandoned home, and they just barge in.
They don't set up a perimeter or anything, or try to even create contact. They just walk in.
No scouting, no snuffing out the situation. They're like, we're getting in there, whether he likes it or not. We know that he's a loose cannon and is a rigging and explosive expert, but we're going to throw ourselves into harm's way no matter what the outcome is. And
the outcome
what the fuck happens?
The outcome is his whole house explodes, killing everyone in there.
Yes.
Including our friend Jeff Daniels. Bye, Jeff.
Harry actually dies this time, because at the beginning, that first scene, we had that explosion and Dennis Hopper did not die. This time, Harry actually did pass away, but that's the last we hear of him at all. Nothing's ever revisited. That's the last we see of Harry, and no one talks about him.
I was really sad as a kid because he was my favorite character. When he died, I was like, no. And so,
I just like Jeff Daniels a lot.
And he does really well in this movie too. He is that character was well written. I liked it. So I
was about to say, Dennis Hopper is obviously a legend, but I think Jeff Daniels, this might be a hot take to some, but I think Jeff Daniels, when you compare their entire body of work up to this day, I think he might be the best actor out of the entire cast. Like I think in terms of technique and classical training and just his repertoire and what he can do stupid comedy all the way to super serious. Like, did he use his role in The Newsroom? Is that the Aaron Sorkin show that he was in? So The Newsroom, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I mean, that is an all-timer. That's a very underrated TV show, but that character and just everything that character had to employ and take up, like that's a fairly heavy, serious role, and to be able to see Jeff Daniels do stupid, silly shit like this movie or Dumb and Dumber, but take it to that range, and then star on Broadway and To Kill a Mockingbird as Atticus Finch and be nominated for Tonys and other things. Like I truly think Jeff Daniels does not get the flowers he deserves. Like, he is a very, very talented actor.
I agree with you. I think he has more range than the other
His range is
actors.
insane.
Because I don't want to take
It's
anything away
insane.
from Sandra Bullock in this movie. She does a really good job. Always loved
No.
Dennis Hopper, but Dennis
Yeah.
Hopper plays a lot of the crazy ass characters.
Yeah, and he plays a lot of himself.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about full body of work, start to finish. And this is definitely a little sidetrack, but I do think Jeff Daniels I think he's prolific.
I agree.
I put him up there, like, not to get even more sidetracked, but you know who Stephen Root is?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I hold him in the same vein. Like, those are dudes with just insane range that can do whatever the hell you ask of them, no matter what. Those dudes can fucking act their way out of a box. I almost said those dudes can fuck their way out of a box, but those dudes can act their way out of a box. And there's just something special about that I appreciate. But that was a great segue. I really got us off track. Why don't we get back to the topic at hand so we don't waste any more of our time and our two listeners' times, you know?
Yeah, and I agree with you. Jeff Daniels is great, but he's dead now. So moving on.
He is gone.
They get this idea because Keanu Reeves is like, he calls back and he's like, Harry, you got good news from me. And he's calling back from Harry's number. And he's like, no, he's dead now. And so he's like, oh, shucks. And he's like,
But really?
And
he's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, shit, Harry's dead. And then he's like, tell that wildcat of yours to keep driving over 50 or whatever he says. And he hangs up the phone. And he looks over at Sandra Bullock, and she's got a sweatshirt that she had taken off, and
that's right,
and it's an Arizona Wildcats shirt. And he's like, he can see you, and he's like, I didn't get the Wildcat reference until now.
This is where he starts doing his sleuth thing. He's like, did you go to the University of Arizona? And she's like, yeah, and he was like, good football team.
Yeah, he's
actually. I looked it up. Arizona won the Pac-12 that year in '94.
Yeah.
So that wasn't Arizona has a decent football history.
Yeah, they do.
But that wasn't just like a throwaway. Like that was relevant. They won the Pac-12. They were a good fucking team then.
Yeah.
So, but he pieces it together. And he's like, how the hell did he know that? Oh wait. I know what's going on here, Chase. What did he figure out?
He's been watching the CCTV camera of everybody.
This is it.
So Keanu Reeves gets a brilliant idea. He's like, okay, everybody look straight ahead, don't move, and they're going to tape us on the CCTV. The police go to the guy that has control of that somehow in the news feed and whatnot. I don't know how he has control of the CCTV inside. We're not even going to get into all that. It's more layered than they let on to be. But the news dude records the CCTV on the bus. And he's like, I only got a minute of tape. And he's like, you got to run it. You got to go. You got to go. So he loops a minute of tape. And at the beginning of the tape, this old lady has a bag, and she sets it down and then picks it back up again. So there's this, like, glitch in it, which Dennis Hopper misses because he's pissing. And he comes back out, and he sees everyone's sitting there on the bus, and they're trying not to move on purpose. So now they've got that running. He's like, okay, so we got time to get everybody else off. So at this point, they're able to basically get everybody off the bus, right?
Well, wait. We didn't even talk about where we are at this point. I think that is something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because we mentioned it earlier. At one point,
we're in LAX.
Yeah,
we're LAX International.
At one point, Keanu Reeves tells her to turn off the road and go to the airport so that they can just circle the runways, which is smart. So now that they have closed off runways, they can just circle and circle and circle. Well, anyway, they're able to get everyone off the bus at some point. We're speeding along right here.
There was also one bullshit moment that I want to discuss because it was so fucking obvious. When they first pulled into LAX to get to the runway, one that looked exactly like the entrance to the runway in GTA 5, like exactly. I was like, holy shit, they really made that game like Los Angeles, like it's uncanny. But when they pull in, the security guards like activate the tire stoppers or whatever, and the back tire gets hit really hard, but it doesn't pop.
Yeah, it literally there's two tires, right, on that bus.
But two in the front, two in the back. But like that one, it got hit so hard. I was like, "There's no way that's gonna survive."
No, and they show they show the bus and the rubber falling off at one point when they're getting everybody off, and it kind of jumps the bus, and it creates a suspenseful scene where they're trying to get everybody off. And
But
Sandra Bullock,
that tire should have fucking popped. Is my point. It
yeah,
should have popped,
right, and
and
they
they
don't.
should have. Yeah,
They should
don't.
have
They
died.
don't know.
They should have died.
Yeah,
That's that.
they
I
should have
wrote that in
died.
my bullshit count too. I was
They
like,
should have died multiple times at this point. Probably like at least like 5 or 6 times where they probably should have perished. But I think I've lost count of how many there are. But anyway,
and it takes them about 10 to 15 minutes to get everybody off and whatnot.
sure,
And
sure.
And so that tape is looping. He would have caught that by then. But there's one point where they're trying to get off the bus, and I can't remember the reason that Sandra Bullock couldn't get off the bus, really. But they're driving, and he gets this bright idea to tie a rope to the steering wheel and use the little maintenance hatch on the bus, and he's going to grab Sandra Bullock, hold on to her as the thing skates like a skateboard / surfboard on the concrete going 50-something miles an hour. This is so absurd. They lay on it. Somehow he's able, with all this speed and inertia from the board bouncing off the concrete, hold on to her, stay on the board, and they skid safely into a bunch of cones.
And their heads miraculously don't get clipped by any of the gears and things underneath the bus. They have plenty of room, so they make it out with ease, you know.
And they drive a big, like, Boeing 747 in the middle of the fucking airstrip for the bus to hit and explode. So they just create a bigger fucking disaster than just letting it careen off the.
I hope there were people in that plane too.
I hope so too. But and Dennis Hopper caught him getting on. He caught the glitch and he blew the bus. And he just happened to blow it at the right time too. That it was going to blow up anyway because it was going to stop.
Good timing. Meanwhile, Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves are on top of each other over in the grass next to these cones, getting somewhat intimate. I don't think they start kissing yet, but like it's a moment. It's a moment where they're like, oh, you can feel the tension in the air. Feel it.
And down to my plums.
My plums, yep.
Yeah, that's a thing. And they're all right. And they're like, we're going to take you two to the hospital. And there's one point where they're driving to the hospital, and I forgot why, but doesn't Keanu Reeves get out of the ambulance and he goes somewhere else? I mean, I forget where he goes to meet up with everybody.
He goes into like a Dwayne Reed, like a coffee shop, like convenience store, right? It's not a Dwayne Reed, but it's something of the sort. Because they pull up at it's not some park, but it's the area in which Dennis Hopper wants his money dropped.
Because he asked him to drop the money, and now they're like, we got this. We're gonna, and it's so stupid because Dennis Hopper like looks out and sees all the snipers and everything and smiles, and you're like, oh, he's got a plan. And he leaves Sandra Bullock in the ambulance. This is another bullshit part of this, right? So he leaves the ambulance, right? And he's going to go rejoin everything because he wants to catch this guy. Whatever. The ambulance would not have just stayed around. It would have went ahead and taken her to the hospital. That is not his spouse. That is not somebody that needs to stay behind. That is a civilian. And they wouldn't have just stayed around. But they stay around. Dennis Hopper is able to just confiscate the ambulance, or he dresses as a police officer. He has his own.
He puts on his old uniform.
APD.
Assumingly.
APD, baby.
Yeah, baby.
No one notices the APD badge. It looks whatever. So he's able to be like, come on, miss, you can come with me. Jack told me to escort you somewhere safe. And she wasn't like, oh, that's weird. I could have just gone to the hospital safe in this ambulance. And so he takes her. They start looking, and at one point, Keanu Reeves runs up to the trash can, and there's a hole in it, and it leads into the subway system. So he chases after him to the subway system, which is also incredibly stupid. So we get to it, and now we're in the subway system in L.A., and he runs after him. And this is another bullshit moment, and I'm gonna let you take it after this moment. He pulls out his gun. He's like, "Freeze, scumbag!" And it turns around, and it's Sandra Bullock in a bomb vest. But you could tell that was Sandra Bullock from the minute that
Yeah.
you pulled up on her. Like, there is no way that would you ever think that Sandra Bullock and Dennis Hopper had the same body shape?
Uh, Probably not. No, no, my eyes don't deceive me there. I can't suspend reality for that. I'm sorry.
So what happens
Um,
next, Andrew? Take us
I
home.
mean, I'll be honest. This is the point where I was just like, all right. I was getting a little distracted at this point. I was like, all right, we know how this is going to end. We know it's going to happen here. I don't exactly know how they're going to get to that
They
point,
just ended
but
up on the train. I think
they,
Keanu Reeves is hostage, and he shoots the train driver at one
yeah,
point.
Dennis Hopper shoots the train driver, but then they try to get Dennis Hopper tries to get in like override it, but it can't, and it's going super fast again. We're
Speed.
speeding again on the train track for the subway of Los Angeles, and I don't. He ties Sandra. He doesn't tie
He
Sandra.
handcuffs her to
He
the.
handcuffs her. They eventually somehow they don't they get up on top of the train of the subway, and then he gets his head cut off.
Yeah,
Isn't that what
there's
happened?
somehow that Jack and him tussle, and they tussle on top of the train. I can't remember how this happens, but yeah, I mean, Dennis Hopper's demise is basically they're fighting, and
And
he's
meanwhile, through all of this fighting, Hopper has this button that he has pushed down. If he lets go, it explodes. He's already pushed down. So if you let go,
he
everything explodes.
Sandra Bullock has it, I think. Now he makes her
Yeah,
hold, and if she
yeah, I
drops
think
it,
so.
and
But
because she's
think of the
wearing a bomb
awkwardness.
vest, she's wearing a
Think of the
bomb vest.
awkwardness of having to. You have the detonator. It's pushed. If you let go, it explodes. So how do you hand that off to someone? Like, why did they do that? What was the point of that? I just like
And why didn't you hold it?
whatever.
Like, you had more
Yeah,
power if you held it than giving it to her. It's stupid. Anyway, he gets his head chopped off by a lighting sign, that you
just
see
some
in a subway,
fixture. Yeah, yeah.
which was cool as hell. So I gave the movie another point for that. Like, I love watching Dennis Hopper be decapitated by a moving train fixture,
It was
and
cool. It was
and
funny.
and he's dead now.
Yeah, he's dead.
And Keanu Reeves goes and makes a good action hero joke where he's like he lost his head. But now he realizes the train is speeding, and then it's heading for like a junction where the train has to make a turn, and it's not going to make the turn because it's moving too fast, and they
Yeah.
can't control it. And he's like, "We're going to have to jump." And Sandra Bullock's like, "I can't. I'm handcuffed to the guardrail here, or the handrail, whatever you want to call it, in the center of the train." He's like, "Well, we're going to have to speed it up." And so he's able to speed up the train. For what reason? I think he said it could hop the tracks and skid. I don't know. Anyway,
Whatever.
this happens. The train goes off the tracks, hits its side, and skids safely. They built a bunch of scaled models and did this in camera.
Oh, whoa,
It
neat.
cost a lot of money to do that, but they did that too. So practical effects are on point here. And they skid safely, and that's it. They kiss and make out, probably about to make love inside this broken down train with
What's the line though? There's a very famous line there. I've got it handy if you want me
yeah,
to
go for
share
it.
it.
Share it,
So
please.
earlier when they were flirting, Sandra Bullock makes a comment saying relationships based on intense experiences never really work out. Trust me, I'm a psychiatrist or something. I know what I'm talking about. And then at the end here, they're on top of each other. They got people watching in the streets, and Jack says, I have to warn you, I've heard relationships based on intense experiences never work. And Sandra Bullock, Annie replies, okay, we'll have to base it on sex then.
All because they're doing all this next to a dead body. Like there
Dude,
is
a dead body, and then everyone in the Los Angeles streets is watching them, and they're cheering, and they're like, "Oh yes, make out! Look at them! Woo-hoo, cool, neato!" And it's just,
take
I
your
don't know,
pants off, Jack.
Yeah, we like to watch.
Cuck themselves. The whole city of Los Angeles is a bunch of cucks. Sorry for our
Yeah,
Los Angeles listeners. If you're listening out there, we do love and appreciate you. Please go to our Patreon and donate some money for Speed. But
do
anyway,
it.
that's not all, Andrew, because we have to end on one big note. You know what that big note is?
Now tell me.
Billy Idol.
Jesus, yeah. Yeah.
Dude, this song is not on Spotify or Apple or anywhere. You can only go to YouTube and listen to Billy Idol's Speed, which was made exclusively for this soundtrack, and they only played it in the end credits. This movie,
God, what would be the modern day equivalent for that?
God, I don't know. Billie Eilish doing a song for a movie and it just ended up in the credits. I guess is the same thing. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I just when I think of Billy Idol, it's not Nickelback, it's not Creed, but it's just mm, a little bit more out there than well, now Billie Eilish is out there, I guess. But regardless, it's a gem that you should listen to. Take a moment and
Look, and
waste 3.5 minutes of your life. So
I will say this: I like Billy Idol. I do like Billy Idol. It is nostalgia rock
but
for me, but I understand why a lot of people would not like Billy Idol. I get it, and I get it's kind of a niche crowd, but this song sucks. Like it's not one of his best, and that's maybe why he never released it on anything else. This is a one and done. But that's Speed, everyone. We watched Speed.
it's over now.
Andrew,
Wow,
what do you think?
through it.
Andrew, what do you think about Speed as an adult?
A lot of bullshit moments. A lot of bullshit moments. But I don't know, like a good portion of it was entertaining, but I told you there were moments there, especially towards the end, where I was like, all right, this is we're barreling towards an obvious ending here. We know it's gonna happen. We can see it coming. Let's just get there. Let's just get there. I don't know. Yeah, that those final like 15, 20 minutes, I was kind of clocked out. I was clocked out. But again, stupid, silly 90s action movies that have entertainment value are not the worst things to sit down and watch. I don't know, Chase. When I finished watching this, we had a conversation last week how we both know that we have an active list of movies that we want to see that we haven't seen before. Bigger name movies that we know, like, hold up to the and classics, things of that nature. When I finished watching that, I was kind of like, I wish I had turned on and watched. Let me see if I could find a movie on my list real quickly that fits this. I wish I could have turned on
After
Leon the
Hours?
Professional. After Hours, Leon the Professional. That's one that I haven't seen that I really want to see. Train Spotting or something. Something. Those are three right there that are all on my watch list. I was like, I kind of wish I had just said fuck it and not watched this movie. But
You had an
I
obligation to our listeners, though.
I did, and I didn't record last week, and I had the time Saturday night, so I made it happen. It had its moments where it was entertaining. I liked the first half of the movie a lot more than the back half, truth be told. Um, there wasn't a nostalgic connection. This is my first time watching it, so it really wasn't. There was no inner debate as to whether I loved it or didn't. I just felt like I watched a very standard '90s action B movie, and that was it. Like I said, entertaining at times, but there were multiple moments where I was just like, eh, or no, or what the fuck. Yeah, a mixed bag of things. To boil it all down, a mixed bag. But to boil it down, it is just a '90s action B movie. It's a straight up B movie, as they would.
I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of quality here. I do agree with you. The last 15 to 20 minutes was not good. It was not a satisfying ending. I wish it would just ended on the bus, honestly. I think if it just ended on the bus, it would have been fine. But there's a little nostalgia for me that carried through that. I thought the first 30 minutes was very intense, brought me into the movie just like I remembered. I thought there was a lot of the bus scene, which was very suspenseful, albeit a little crazy, But again, I can suspend some of that craziness for Die Hard and other action movies we talk about and love, and even Predator. to the extent. So it's like
I just think that I
if
don't
I'm
know.
if I'm watching The Rock, right? The Rock, it has some insane moments too in the theory of logic. I think I just go into all 80s, 90s and action movies knowing, hey, this is going to be really over the top. And I don't feel like it was super over the top like some of those movies. It got to that point, to your credit, in the last 15, 20 minutes. But other than that, like, I could reasonably assess everything from that action movie world. So
Yeah,
I did enjoy it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I did as a kid, where I loved every minute of it. I think I caught more of the bullshit this go around. But I did enjoy it. I've watched worse action movies. I'd prefer this over The Rock, and I like The Rock. But I prefer this over The Rock, and I prefer this
I do
over
too. I do
Demolition
too. I
Man. Like, it's
definitely over Demolition Man.
some of the ones that we've done. This has been probably one of the, for me, this has been one of the top action movies we've done.
I still just don't think it's that quality of a plot from start to finish. I thought some of the acting was pretty questionable. Some of it, not all of it, some of it, and that's probably some of the writing too. So I can't
Josh Whedon.
fault all of the actors, but there were just moments where But you do that with action movies. Like you expect some cheesiness, you expect some moments where you roll your eyes or scoff or whatnot. So you accept it for what it is. I was entertained. It lost me at the end, and I
Yeah,
was honestly expecting a bit more because
absolutely.
I liked the first half. I was like, okay, cool. This isn't a waste of my time right now. All right, cool. Let's keep it up. But that last quarter, last like fifth if of the movie, I was just like, get over with. We know what's happening here. Why are you prolonging the inevitable? Just get there. Stop
Yeah,
with the cheap plot devices and the obvious, point A to point B. Just jump there. Get there. I think that was the biggest hang up for me.
for sure. It's a 2 hour movie that should have been like an hour 40, hour 45. It's that,
Yeah.
I think that's its biggest flaw.
Yeah.
Um, what's funny is they made one of the worst sequels of all time in Speed 2. I think it's called Cruise Control, where it happens on a cruise ship.
Ugh, they should be murdered for that. They should.
It's an infamous sequel, which we may watch on our Patreon if everyone gives us some money.
God, I can't believe they really made a sequel.
They made a sequel. Sandra Bullock's in it,
And
and
oh, Sandra, come on, girl, come on.
and I remember being a kid and watching it as a kid because I love Speed so much that we watched on TV one time, and it was one of the worst things I've seen. And that was me watching it one time as like a 9-year-old. I couldn't imagine how bad that movie is. It's
Yeah,
legendarily bad. But do you think it holds up? That's the big question.
yeah, yeah, I do. I don't think it's like a resounding like yes, without a doubt. There's definitely a part of me that has some hesitation there, but I do. I ultimately do.
I do as well.
Yeah,
And I think my nostalgia helps that a little bit, even though like I was trying not to
yeah,
be super nostalgic about it. But I was like, this was fun.
yeah.
It's
My lack of connection to it, I think, doesn't help.
I can see that. But
Um,
I think either way, nostalgia or not, I would probably be like, yeah, it holds up. I don't think it's not going to be the best action movie you ever seen, but I think it is interesting enough. And the first hour and a half, you really do like go along for the ride and you suspend your disbelief. But like right as they're getting off the bus and into the train sequence, you're like, okay, enough's enough. I'm ready for this to
yeah,
be over. What would you give it on IMDb?
like a 6.3, 6.4. I said 6.3, so I gotta stick with that. But 6.3, I think.
That's exactly what I was going to give it.
Yeah,
I'll give it a 6.3 as well. Dual 6.3s. Do we know what it actually is on IMDb?
it's 7.4 on IMDb, which I think is ridiculously high. But
That's a little too high.
yeah.
Can you tell me what cruise control is? Speed 2 is real quick for the listeners.
Oh, and it's just called Speed 2, correct?
I think it's Speed 2 cruise control. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Hold on, I bet it's in the threes. Speed 2 cruise control. It is. Oh, it's 4.4. 4.0 exactly.
Oh, so it's just shit. It's not
And
dog
our
shit.
good friend Willem Dafoe's in that.
Oh, of course he is. I don't remember Willem Dafoe in it, but yeah, that sounds like something. Well, no, isn't there a popular meme with him in that movie? I think there's a
Uh,
meme of him in that movie with
is
his.
that the one where he's like looking up at the sky? Is that what that's from?
No, it's on a cruise ship. I think it's a different one, but like, I don't know. Anyway, that's Speed, everybody. You know what we do around here. We reach inside your childhood nostalgia, pull the movies from your past out to see if they truly hold up. Today, we found out Speed does hold up. So cruise on out of here, go watch it, and let us know if you think it holds up. Andrew, next week we are doing our final summer blockbuster, and we find
Oh
out
God.
if everything is just a toy. That's right. We are looking at Small Soldiers. This one should be fun, one that I know we all had youthful nostalgia for. Kyle will be back on the show. Andrew may or may not be back on the show. We got a lot of things going on, but in the meantime, you can go follow us on social media to see who is going to be on the show. Maybe we'll bring a guest on. Go to our Patreon, check that out as well. We'll see you all next week for Small Soldiers.